Now, there's one more thing that's really important to understand in HTML, and I think very helpful when you can see it in action. And that has to do with how links are set and how the path in a link is set. So here in my unordered list, and you can see the UL and the LI tags of an unordered list and list items, that's straight old HTML. Then I have a link. The ahref is the link tag. It's the hypertext reference, and it's the anchor tag, which is part of why the close link tag is a simple /a. So this is one of the few tags that breaks the rule that the opening and the close tag usually match. Notice my LI tags are exactly the same. My UL tags exactly the same, open and close, but not the link tag. The link tag ahref equals, followed by whatever the link is. Now, if it's an external link, it's pretty easy. Here's a link to istockphoto.com, which is where these photos came from. And you can see that the ahref simply references the full web address of that website. But when you're linking to another page on your website, the relative location of the page you're on to the page you're linking to becomes very important. So notice here that in this link I have pages/tv.html. And I'm going to close up my insert panel here so you can better see in the files panel what's going on here. I've purposely created a couple of subfolders to help you understand how this works. When I create a link from my index page to this page here, tv.html, I'm creating a link that goes from the index page into the pages folder to tv.html. Now, don't be confused. In fact, you can change the order of files, and that might make it a little easier. Index to tv.html. And if I look in the code, you can see that when I link to that TV page, I go into the pages folder to the tv.html file. So I'm on the index page, I go into the pages folder and into the tv.html file. Now, similarly, if I want to go all the way to this page, and of course you can stretch this out a little bit, this is computer.html. Then if you look in the code, you can see I'm going into pages, then into another folder called pages2, then I go to computer.html. So the instruction to the browser and the path in the link is from the index page into the pages folder, into the pages2 folder, which is inside the pages folder, and finally to the file called computer.html. This is part of why it's so vitally important to do that site setup process and define your local root folder in Dreamweaver. Because Dreamweaver needs to know where is the top of your website. This is your local root folder, and this you can consider the top level of your website. This index page should always be at the top level of your website. And when you put this website online, which I'll show you how to do in the next chapter, you want to make sure that everything that's in this main root folder goes up to your correct folder on your web server to correspond, so that that index page is still at the top level of the folder that's public on your web server. So we've seen how you go down into subfolders to create a link, but what happens if you want to link from a subfolder back up to a page? So on this page, if I scroll down, you'll see I have a link that takes me back home. And here you'll see a .. at the beginning of index. Now this is telling the browser that it should go out of the folder pages and up to the file index. So I'm leaving the folder pages and I'm going up to index. And in HTML, .. basically means go up a folder. Here you can see a link to the computer.html page that's in my pages2 folder. And I don't need the first pages folder because this file is inside that folder. So again, you see the link is relative. From this file to that file, you're really only going through one folder, pages2. So the link on this page is different than the link on this page that goes to the same file. That again has to do with their relative location. And that's also why it's so important that if you want to move or rename files, you do it in the Files panel where Dreamweaver can fix those links for you. Now finally, if I go down to this third page, you'll see I also have links here to my home page and my Fish on TV page. And if I look at the link to my home page, Now you see ... That's telling the browser go up 2 folder levels because this page is inside 2 subfolders away from the index page. Similarly, if I go up to the Fish on TV page, I'm only going up 1 directory level from where I am, so you see just 1 ... So if you've never seen that before, that may look a little complicated, but try and just basically get this in your mind. If you're going from a subdirectory up to a higher level in your site, it's ... to go up. If you're going from a higher level, like the index page, which should be at the top of your site, then you're going to include the names of the folders that are in between those pages as you go down the directory structure. And one last detail to this, not to confuse you further, but if when you did the site setup process, you chose root links instead of relative, and let me just show you what I mean by that. When I edit this, here you have links relative to document, and here you have site root. When you choose site root links, the links will look quite different. And they'll look different in this way. When you choose site root linking, everything goes to the site root level or the top level of your site. And all of your links will begin with a / and the path down to the page. None of them will have the ... to go back up. All of your links will start with a /, which says to the browser, go to the root level and go down from here. There are some advantages to site root linking, but they can make it a little more complex to work on a site locally. So Dreamweaver uses document root as the default, and unless you've changed it, this should always be the option when you create a new site. So let's just do a quick preview. And you see, when I click Fish on TV, I go down 1 level, and up here at the top of the screen, notice that the URL of this page corresponds to the path in that link. So if you've noticed that a lot of websites, when you drill down into the page, you start seeing /something, /something. What you're really looking at are the names of the subdirectories or subfolders in that site.